Hi, Jeremy the Tall Trainer, and I want to talk to you a little bit today about the bench press. There's plenty of athletes that are going to destroy their shoulders in the weight room. They're going to have a weight room related injury, which is like the most awful thing that can happen for a coach, because it's something that's supposed to be making them better, but now they're getting worse because they hurt themselves, in the preparation process. If an athlete gets injured in a game, you understand things like that happen. But when they get injured in practice, or worse yet, get injured in the weight room, a place that's supposed to be controlled and safe, that's a really bad news. So I'm going to show you a couple points on how we can protect the shoulders and get the most benefit from a bench press. Before we even get to the bench press, we need to understand a little bit more about the shoulder, how it works and how it moves. Now really there are almost really two joints in each shoulder there. So obviously we have two shoulder joints, but there's actually two places of motion in the shoulder. One is the common one, the one that you think about, it's called the Glenohumeral Joint, and that's where the arm meets the socket of the shoulder, and that part moves. Now the other part that moves is called the Scapula-Thoracic Joint, and that's the shoulder blade, and that's how the shoulder can do this forward, back, up and down stuff. And so you're not really moving at the glenohumeral joint, the shoulder socket joint. You're actually moving the scapula around the back, and so you're kind of controlling both of those areas is how we're going to get the best bench press. So the worst place for your shoulder, I guess we'll start there, is up and forward here. So we're elevated and we're rounded in our posture. So that's a horrible place. Now that can happen. Maybe that's not your regular posture, but that can happen in a bench press when you're struggling to get out of it. You get into this uptight pressing forward here. Now when you do that, the pressure goes from being in the chest, in the lats and some of those big strong muscles of the upper body, to being into the rotator cuff muscles. And so that's how you can easily tear something, or even the socket of the joint. You can even mess that up because it's not a very deep socket there. So we want to make sure that when you're doing a press, that the shoulder blades are pulled back and shoulders are away from the ears there. So you've really got this setup position as you're doing the press. So that way you can ensure the best safety for the shoulder. So we'll take it over to the press now. All right, here we are. Got a setup for the bench press here. Got the bar set at a nice height there. Got my bench laid out. Now I'm just going to show you a couple examples of how you should move there, where the bar should travel, approximately how low, things like that. So I'm going to kick back on the bench, lay back, and you get the bar first. Now you can do some different grips here. You can go narrow, wide, things like that. We're not going to worry about that just yet. That can change some of the way the muscles work, but that's not going to change as long as we're controlling the shoulder well. So lift the bar off. Now we get the shoulders, instead of being tucked up in here, we're going to squeeze the shoulders away from the ears. When we travel down with the bar for a bench press, we're going to come over low here, just like in here. So we're not traveling up in here. If we're traveling up in here, we're putting a lot of pressure in that rotator cuff again. So if that bar is coming towards the throat on your presses, bad news. It should be coming towards your xiphoid, which is where the ribs come together. So that place where the ribs meet up, right about there, that's about the place. So it's about mid rib cage is the target zone for that. So as we're lowering down, we're aiming to there and coming back up. Now one thing you'll notice is I'm not forcing a touch here. Now that'll work for some guys who, some guys who have the big barrel chests and things like that. They can easily touch. Or if you're doing like for a powerlifting meet or something, you got that big arch or something, you get the touch then. But for most of us, we should not be touching. Because one thing that happens when we try to lower that bar that far is as we lower to a certain point, everything's good, shoulders lined up, but then all of a sudden we start to go lower, and that shoulder now kicks forward. Remember, elevated and forward, bad. So if we get down low and that shoulder kicks forward, that's bad news. So let me show you in the press. All right, so come down in here. Bar is good to this point. Doing pretty good. Shoulders squeezed away from the ears. Chest is out. Got good position there. Now if I drop farther, it's really slight. It starts to kick forward. It starts to stretch around the front of the shoulder there. Now Now, if I'm doing that for reps, I'm gonna find that right here is the place that feels like it's getting the work instead of all across and through the upper body. So that's definitely something you don't want. All right, just to give you a chance to see this from a different angle, I'm gonna grab on here, lift up, shoulders away from the ears. This is a good rep right in here. Pressing up right like that. Really recruit a lot of my upper body into that press. Now some of the bad ones, don't copy these ones, is where the elbows flail out really wide and you're coming down, you know, towards the throat here and pressing. Some of these things, not so good. And that kind of press, bad news for the shoulder. You're gonna overuse it. And if you overuse it in the weight room, it's not gonna be able to be there for sports. So you wanna make sure you're really taking good care to be in the right position there. So you get the maximum strength out of your bench press. All right, so again, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you got a little bit out of this. We really wanna try to help a select number of athletes to really improve their performance and to get this stuff down right, to do it well, and have it benefit them for their sports careers and for their life in general. So if you're interested in something like that, just go to our website. We got the talltrainer.com/sportsconditioning.html, and that's where we'll have some information about our summer, conditioning camp for young athletes. We're looking for ages 13 to 18 and a decent emotional maturity level so that we can actually get through some stuff. Really athletes that really want to improve, not people that are not athletes that are getting forced to do something they really earnestly want it. So check that out. Again, hope you enjoy this. Have fun. Be safe.